Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I am Underhook, and this is my review of the Russian Tier 4 light tank, the A-20. So, is it any good? Well, as a Russian Tier 4 light tank, it's a very good tank. But it's a scout tank, and against Tier 7 and 8 tanks, it sucks. So, yes, a good tank, but against the Tier 7 and 8 tanks it comes up against, it's awful, and it makes it a very, not a pleasurable tank to drive, because you will find yourself against Tier 4s or 5 games probably about 15% of the time. The rest of the time you're against 6, 7s and 8s, and those games suck. And yeah, basically what happens is the tank doesn't have a very good view range, so to effectively scout, it's very fast though, but to effectively scout means you have to get within view range of the enemy, and the tank has virtually no armor whatsoever, and you are instantly one-shot killed by just about every tank in the game. So games are very, very short. At least they are for me, because I know I'm not a great scout tank driver, but you may get different results, but that's pretty much the result I got. So let's get into the review. The tank has 340 hit points, weighs from sort of 18 to 20 ton, has 500 horsepower, and a speed of 72. Now, it is very fast. Now, the hit points, 340 hit points, is the lowest hit points of the Tier 4 light tanks, but a lot of them have 340. I think the most is about 360. They vary a bit, but it sort of equals some of the others at 340. But the speed of this tank at 72, it is the fastest Tier 4 light tank out there. And the next closest is the PZ-38, the German tank, at 62. So it's quite a bit faster than all the other tanks. It is also fairly large for a light tank. If I get the other light Russian tank at the moment, which I've got, is the T-80, and we can see the T-80 is much smaller, although the T-80 is not a scout tank. So if you want to, both of these tanks will lead you to the T-34. So if you want the T-34 but you don't want to put up with having to scout at Tier 7 and 8, you could get the T-80 instead. It has a similar gun, but it's nowhere near as fast as the A-20 here. If this was just against Tier 4 and 5 tanks, it would rock. It would be a great tank. But the, yeah. Anyway, so it also has a traverse speed of 46, which is about average and quite sufficient. The turret is 50 traverse speed, which is very, very good and is the best of all of the Tier 4 light tanks. So there's no chance of anybody getting past you and you not being able to get your gun onto them. With that traverse speed on track traverse and turret traverse, there's nobody you can't get your gun to. The view range, I did mention earlier, is not very good. It's 330. It's the lowest, or equal lowest. It shares their honour with the T-50 and the T-80, the other Russian light tanks, which yeah, causes great difficulty in scouting. Now, the signal range of 615 is very good. It's not the highest, but it's close to the highest, so that is a plus. The tank doesn't have great armor. However, the turret is okay. The turret is okay at Tiers 3 and 4, and maybe even Tier 5. Above that, the turret is totally useless as far as armor goes. But the hull is extremely fragile, and HE ammo just blows this thing apart. I got single shotted so many times in this tank. Now, the gun depression is 7 degrees, which is not adequate for hill fighting, so it is hard to get hull down anyway. And the gun elevation is 25 degrees, which is very good. The camouflage on this tank is pretty much the lowest of all the Tier 4 tanks, which is another thing that makes it a little difficult for scouting in this tank. Now, when I say the lowest, not the lowest. The lowest is the AMX-40. But if you've ever seen the AMX-40 or driven it, it's like a little heavy tank with a light tank gun. It's got very well armored, and you can see it from space. So that's a different. But disregarding the AMX-40, this one has the lowest camo rating, but it's not terrible, and it does keep its camouflage rating while moving, so that's okay. Let's have a look at the grind for this tank. So there's quite a big gun selection. Some of them were available on previous tanks. You basically have your choice though, the top 3 guns. The autoloader, you don't need the upgraded turret to get, but the other ones you do need the upgraded turret, these next 2. Alright, so you've got a 37mm autocannon, which has 46 penetration and does 40 damage. I'm not going to go any more than saying that, because simply 46 penetration isn't enough. At tier 4 you can kind of maybe get away with it, but 5, 6, 7, 8, forget it, and that's where you spend most of your time in this tank, so it's useless. Now, I was asked to do this review by Dick TR, and I've finally got to doing it, so hi to you. You asked me to review this tank with the 76mm L11 and with the 45mm VT42. Well, the L11 is a terrible gun, and I don't have any gameplay for you with this gun, because whenever I used this gun, I never survived for more than about 2 shots before I was killed. The gun is absolute rubbish, and I'll tell you why. It's got a rate of fire of 10, which is fairly slow for this tier. Penetration of 68, which is not good enough. You might get away with it tier 4. Anything above that, it's no good. And if you use premium ammo, it only goes up to 75, which is not much. It does have very good damage, however, at 110. It also has HE ammo, but with a 38 pen on the HE ammo, it's pretty much useless against anything but very lightly armoured tanks, which you won't come across very much because you're going against higher tiers. It has an accuracy of 0.51, which is absolutely terrible, and it has aiming time of 2.9, which is also absolutely terrible. So we have a gun with a terrible rate of fire, terrible pen, terrible accuracy, and a terrible aiming time. Combine that with it has a very slow velocity. So shells take a long time to reach your target, so moving targets are almost impossible to hit, and with this sort of accuracy you need to be very close to hit anyway. If you get that close, you have no armor and you will be killed. So the gun's terrible. This gun, however, is a very good gun. The VT42 has a 26.09 rate of fire, which is very fast when you compare it to the 10 of the gun I was just talking about. Has 75 penetration, which is not bad. We'll see you penetrating a lot of tier 5 tanks. You will have difficulty with tier 6s, but if you switch to premium, you'll get 110, so it's a decent upgrade. Now, the gun I just mentioned, when you use premium ammo, it had 75 pen. So you can see here, our standard pen of 75 is much better. The damage, though, is low. You only do 55 damage per shot, which is great at tier 4, but anything above that, it's not much. It's only really harassing value, or you can sometimes finish off people or track them. The accuracy of 0.37 isn't bad, and the aiming time of 1.9 is very, very good. So that's your gun selection. Now the turret, well, as far as armor goes, it is an armor upgrade, but it upgrades from 25 to 37, which doesn't make any difference. It does add traverse speed from 45 to 50, which is great, and it does increase your view range from 300 to 330. So those are quite necessary things. It's well worth the upgrade. It only weighs 100 kilos more, so it's no biggie. The engine's worth it on this tank, because the thing about this tank is its speed. That's its real asset. And the tracks increase your traverse from 44 up to 46, which is excellent anyway. And the radio is worth it because that's a strength of this tank. So without any more to say about it, I think we'll get into some gameplay. But this tank, really, you want to try and stay at range, hidden, and snipe with this gun. It is a good sniping gun. You really don't want to be on the front line at all, because if anybody sees you and gets a shot into you, your tank will be crippled or explode instantly. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, here we are in Tank Inspector, looking at the armour of the A-20. And just out of a matter of interest, we'll have a quick look at the guns, because this gun here with the square base to it is the Autoloader Gun. And depending on the gun, it does change the mantlet. Now if we change now to the gun that I like to use, the VT42, the mantlet itself doesn't change, just the look of the gun does. But if we go to the 76mm L11 gun, you can see the mantlet actually changes quite substantially. So it does change the armor values around the gun a little bit, but it is the L11 gun, the mantlet isn't quite as tough, even though it looks a bit tougher. So we go back to the 42mm there. Now let's have a look at the armor in the colorized view. You can see this band at the very near the beak of the tank is 25mm thick, which is way too thin to stop anything at all. And the actual upper and lower plates are only 20mm thick. And even though they're very well sloped, sloping means nothing when it's only this thick. As you can see, it's only adding 1mm to the thickness of sloping. Now the driver gets protection that's less than the rest of the tank. He only gets 15mm of armor, so even easier to penetrate. The side of the tank is the same, except behind the tracks it's actually thicker. It's 25mm, which is still not good enough to stop anything. Rear of the tank is 16mm, and the top deck, including the top of the turret, is only 10mm, so HE will do full damage every single time. The actual turret of the tank is 37mm thick, and you do get some pretty good angling on the front of the turret. So you can see there, even though it's 37mm, it's giving us the equivalent of 54. So you will bounce some tier 3 and tier 4 autocannon type fire there, which is not bad. And the mantlet isn't too bad either. You've got overlaid 25/37, which is giving us about 62mm. So the front of the turret will stop anything from, you know, that has about a 50mm penetration. And the cupola is also fairly well armoured at 30. But generally speaking, look, the tanks you're facing this tank, you're not really going to stop anything with this armour. Just the odd autocannon fire. Okay, that's about it for the armour.
Move out.
Okay, the map is Steppes. It's a tier 5 game, so it's very good matchmaking for us because there's also a few tier 3s in the game as well. Probably the tough ones for us to penetrate is going to be the KV-1 and the KV-220 on the side. They'll be real tough for us to penetrate. So I'm using the LT-42 gun, which has 75mm of penetration and does 55 average damage. If I use premium ammo, it'll get up to 110mm of penetration. So I've taken an early spotting position, and we can see a DW2 there. The DW2 has 50mm of armor all around, so we shouldn't have too much trouble penetrating it.
Enemy is hit. Ricochet. Penetration. Enemy armor is hit. That one didn't go through. Enemy is hit.
So with angling, the DW2 probably increase its armor up to around 60 or a little bit more.
We didn't even.
And so our 55mm of, our 75mm of pen might have a bit of trouble
That one didn't go through.
at this range. So we didn't do too bad there, and it looks like he wasn't able to spot us. I don't have 6th sense. Now my crew, the commander is 100%, but the rest of the crew is around about 80%. So of course accuracy and all that sort of stuff will improve. Now you can see there the gun depression was not good enough for me to get a shot on this tank, so I've had to move further forward to get the front of my tank tilting down to get these shots in. Not having any trouble with the T-49 there. Now I'm getting hit, but I'm trying to get this tank, kill it, but too late.
Enemy armor is damaged.
I've been severely damaged with a stag. I really should have moved by now, but I'm being a bit silly. And lucky not to be killed there. There he goes, firing at me again. Always better to retreat and come back later rather than stay out and try and get a kill. But you know, I say that, but doing it in a game is a lot harder when you think, oh, one more shot and I'll get him, and then it moves a bit, and yeah, it's a trap. So hopefully we get a chance to show you the excellent speed of this tank. I missed it with that shot. Well, there's that Stoke 3 to put a lot of shots into us just before. Or 2 shots he put into us.
Enemy is hit.
We were lucky. That was an orange indicator, but it would still manage to penetrate, so we were a bit lucky there. But you could see also the gun has very rapid fire, and it's a pretty good gun. So we haven't used any premium ammo. I am carrying 5 rounds of premium ammunition just in case. They have 3 tanks left, and we have, what do we have, 7 tanks? 8 tanks left, so we're slaughtering them. Game's almost over. So this gives you a pretty good idea of the speed of the tank. Now it's not a super powerful tank, so it does need a sort of a long, flat area to get its speed up. We're doing, what, 70 now? Slowing down a bit, we turned. About 70, 71, there you go. But downhill, if you get it downhill, it just flies. Alright, so I've only got 1 tank left, which is that KV-1, so I'm rushing out there now to see if I can get a couple of shots on it. It looks like we're going to dispatch it pretty quickly. Can we get a shot into it? Oh, we've got his back, which is ideal. I have switched to premium on the way over, just because I thought, well, KV-1, I'm not going to penetrate that premium. Alright, game over. Alright, so pretty good victory there. We managed to damage quite a few tanks and spot a few tanks. Didn't get any kills. Pretty hard to get kills in this tank because we're only doing 55 damage per shot. But it was a good game. So the next screen we can see we came second for experience, and I think we came second on damage as well. 649 experience there is enough to get the first class badge, so I'm guessing mastery would be about 850, something like that. And we can see here that we fired 28 shots, of which 22 hit, which is very good considering the shots that we were taking some of the time there. And of the 22 that hit, 18 penetrated, which is pretty good from a light tank, quite impressive. Damage of 751, hits received 2 and penetrated 2. Yeah, look, yeah, anything that hits you will pretty much penetrate. And we spotted 3 tanks and damaged 5, which is not bad, and did a bit of spotting damage, 314, which is pretty good. Even got 4 base defense points off the KV-1 at the end there. Now we received 25,000 credits for that game. The ammunition is a little bit expensive. You can see there we spent 5,600, but we did fire about 4 rounds of premium. So if you didn't fire premium, the expenses would be very low. However, because you're facing higher tiers, I mean that was a tier 5 game, if you get 6 or higher, you're pretty much going to have to fire premium almost all the time to get a penetration, unless you just want to sit there and passively scout, but your view range isn't great, so it's kind of tough. This is the only game I had for you today. I do hope you enjoyed it, and good luck with it. Thank you for watching my review of the A-20. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ, and until next time, have fun.